Good evening. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday in the lab. I'm going to give it a second, and I don't know if my comments are actually popping up. So if you are seeing me, say hi. And last time I did a live, there was no comments that were popping up, so I was trying to figure it out right before, but it's not working. So I'm not going to be able to see the comments at all, which I'm kind of bummed. I can't see who is on. And so hello, everyone. So I'm subbing for Dr. Tracy in the lab tonight, and I'm honored and privileged to step in and speak in the lab. We are going to be covering fat loss versus weight loss. And I'm covering my chapter in Tracy's book. So if you have the book handy, you can bring it out. I am chapter 9. It starts on page 64. So I will be referencing a little bit on the book, and I have some extra insight as well to train you guys on fat loss versus weight loss, because there's so many people that are on a health journey, and I want to say congratulations. The testimonies that are coming in for the Wise Weight Management program are unbelievable, like absolutely unbelievable. And everyone is like glowing. Their skin is like radiant. And you know that they're getting the nutrients down on the cellular level. So it's so cool seeing all the testimonies. And I'm so proud of all of you guys. And if you're stuck on your weight loss journey, so I hope that you listen up, because I have some insight for you guys. So if we haven't met, my name is Dr. Becka. I'm a naturopath doctor, but my background started 30 years ago as a personal trainer. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I'm going to be talking about strength training and muscle in this. So I competed in triathlons for about 10 years as an elite triathlete. And what I learned through being an elite triathlete, I did over 50 triathlons and probably finished top 10 in every single one, and top 3 in probably the majority of them. So I train the body. I learned how to train the body at an elite level in triathlons for endurance, muscle endurance, and cardiovascular endurance. After 10 years, I hung up my running shoes, and then I competed in bodybuilding. I did that for multiple years, and I won my pro card. So I competed professionally in the bodybuilding world. I got my pro card. I was nominated, or since I won the pro, I was able to go to Worlds. And as you know, Tony Freeman is a world's champion bodybuilder. I never competed in Worlds. I won to go to Worlds, but never competed. I didn't want to diet another 3 weeks to go to Worlds. So because with everything that I've learned in nutrition and exercise, I was depleting my body so much. Towards the end of competition, I was so depleted of my nutrients and vitamins and minerals that I knew that I was doing my body more harm at the end. I know it's short-lived and everything at the end, but it kind of was going against what I was teaching other people. And I also wanted to really teach people on how to live healthy and get nutrients down on the cellular level, more than just counting calories and getting to a specific like leanness as like a bodybuilder. Because we've all seen on TikTok and Instagram all these influencers that have like this amazing body, and we want to be like them. So this brings me to the focus on why we want to what is our weight loss journey or our health journey? Because some of us want to gain weight, gain muscle. Other of us want to lose weight, but not necessarily weight. We want to lose fat. And so let me explain the difference between fat burning, fat loss versus weight loss. So when we focus mainly on the scale, and I hate the scale because it does not tell you how healthy you are. It does not tell you how strong you are. It does not tell you your worth. It does not tell you what your consistency that you're doing every single day. And sometimes we just get so frustrated on that stupid darn number that's on the scale that it puts us in a bad mood for the rest of the day. We step on the scale and like, I'm doing so good. I've ate really clean and doing all this stuff. And then you step on the scale the next day and it's like a pound or two more. And then you go in the weekend and you kind of have a big pasta or pizza and then you step on the scale and you lose weight. Anybody been there? Yes, it's frustrating. And the reason for that, our body fluctuates like 5 pounds every single day. And it could be hormones, it could be the foods that we're eating, it could be the timing of the food that we're eating, it could be hydration that our muscles and body is going through. So do this, you can step on the scale, hop off, drink 16 ounces of water, that's 1 pound, step on the scale again, and you're gonna be 1 pound heavier. You can actually hop in the shower and your skin absorbs a lot of water. You can gain a couple ounces after getting out of the shower and stepping on the scale, and you can be a couple ounces heavier. You could eat a meal that has more carbohydrates and the extra water gets into the muscle belly, and it stores in the muscle belly, and then we're retaining a little bit more water. So the scale doesn't tell us everything, and that's why I don't want you to fixate on the scale and fixate on those non-scale victories. Take pictures, do your measurements, because that will tell you so much more. Even if you do not drop the number on the scale, you could be adding lean muscle and dropping body fat. So what is fat burning? It's really the process your body uses to convert stored fat into energy. So it takes the stored energy that's in our fat cells and takes it into the bloodstream and utilizes it for energy. Now the problem is that this society, we are constantly eating. I know some of you don't, but majority of people, we're eating all the time. And they've taught this in, the media. You have to have your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then snacks in between. So the problem is your body is always having to take the extra, pump out insulin to take that fuel and use it. So if you're not using that fuel for muscle, to use for in like strength training or, walking or daily activities, it's going to take it and store it into your fat cells. And so one of the best tips is eliminate the snacks throughout the day. Eat the 3 meals a day and have something in the morning that does not spike your insulin. So a lot of times people have something that will spike their insulin. It's usually even with fruit. And if you have, I love smoothies, but not for breakfast because you're starting off your day with a spiked insulin. So have the smoothie after a workout or during the time that you're the most active during the day. I usually avoid the smoothies at night, but I love the fuel at night because I don't add any fruit or anything and it just keeps me stable. So that's the fat burning. Weight loss it can be a combination of everything. So it's an overall body mass for the weight loss, which includes fat, muscle, water, glycogen store, all of that could be a weight loss. So you see people that have gone, have gotten the shot, the Ozempic or Mounjaro, and they lose a ton of weight quick. They're losing muscle, overall muscle, fat, water, like glycogen, everything. And so they look deflated, and, because they lose some muscle along with it. So it's almost like they're a skinny fat and they don't have any like form to them because they've lost so much weight quick. So a healthy weight loss is about 1 pound or 2 pounds a week is healthy. So don't underestimate the power of just losing a 1/2 pound or a 1/4 pound of fat during one given week, because it adds up. In the last year, I've dropped 15 pounds, and in the 15 pounds in the year, I literally, if I stepped on the scale from week to week, it wasn't much of a difference at all, but it was the slight edge. It was maybe, a 1/4 pound or, a couple ounces, lighter. And it was frustrating, but I kept on being consistent. I kept on doing my walking. I kept on doing my strength training because I knew strength training is your longevity muscle. So don't fixate on the scale. Get those non-scale victories. The number on the scale can fluctuate from hormone changes, meals that you're eating, all of that. We need to change our mindset around the weight loss thing. Also, when people, I've been training people for close to 30 years. A lot of them are weight loss clients, and they want to lose X amount of number, but I always tell them to switch their mindset to what do you actually want to look like or feel like, and don't fixate on I need to lose X amount per week, but focus on I need to do 3 strength training sessions a week and walk X amount of steps per day. So if you focus on the activity, the weight will come. The weight will come. And if you're stressing over it, stress is cortisol, cortisol goes up. And what happens when our cortisol goes up? Our insulin also goes up. And when we're in this fight or flight and our stress levels are super high, just think of us as primitive people. Back in the primitive caveman days, they had the fight or flight when they were being chased by a predator. And so if you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, then hormones change, heart rate changes, sweat gland changes, all this stuff changes. Your hormones do change when you are in this fight or flight. So what does your body need to do? It needs to, the pancreas shoots out more insulin to bring more sugar, or more sugar comes into the bloodstream so you can run away from that predator, right? So if we're constantly in this fight or flight, then we keep on getting dumped extra sugar into, or glucose into the bloodstream. So muscle, let's talk about exercises for fat loss. Strength, I'd say, is number 1, especially women over 40. We need to strength train. Don't worry, you will not get bulky. We don't have the hormones, the amount of hormones that guys have to get really bulky. I was a professional bodybuilder. I got down to 7% body fat. I had muscle on me. I was only 120 pounds. I was tiny. Like, if I wasn't standing there flexing, I was like a rail. Like, I was too skinny. So don't be afraid. The more muscle that you build, the more calories that you're burning at rest. So wouldn't you want to, at the end of the day, sit and relax, and your body is burning more fat at rest, versus if you had less muscle, then you wouldn't be burning as much fat? So muscle is key. It's a longevity. So guys, after between 30 and 40 years old, we start to lose muscle about 3 to 5% per decade. So when we're getting older, we're losing. By the time we hit 50 or 60, it's 5 to 8% per decade that we're losing the muscle. 60 to 70 years old, it's 8 to 10% per decade that we're losing muscle mass. So it's super important to build that lean muscle mass. So I wanted to show you something. I printed up because this is pretty cool. It's called your total daily energy expenditure. You can't really see it very much. So your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. It's 65 to 75% of your total calories. What you burn is your basal metabolic rate. What does that mean? It's for your heart to be pumping. It's for your blood to be circulating in your bloodstream. It's your body to regulate the temperature. It's all of that for the body to do what it needs to do. That's 65 to 75% of your total daily calories. So a lot of times women come to me under eating. Their basal metabolic rate is around 1,400 calories and they're only eating like 1,200 calories. So their body's like, it's not even like enough fuel and nutrients to fuel their day-to-day life. You know, maybe if they're in a coma, maybe getting that much. And then the neat non-exercise activities, thermogenesis, so the things that you do that are non-exercise. So your day-to-day chores and mowing the grass and getting up and, you know, playing with the kids and, you know, washing dishes, mopping the floor. That's your non-exercise activities throughout the day. That's only 15%. The thermic effect of food, so what your body uses to metabolize the food, the temperature that it brings the temperature up and digesting your food, that only accounts for 10% of your daily energy expenditure. 10% is the foods that you eat. So if you're eating higher proteins, if you're eating fiber, you know, it takes the body more energy to break it down and to digest the food. And then exercise, you guys, exercise only 5% of your total energy expenditure. So it's important to get that nutrient dense foods in it. So you don't need to freaking count calories. You know, who wants to spend all their day like counting everything? If you're eating everything from the earth, if it's grown on a tree, in the ground, if it has a mother, I say, if it's flown in the air, if it's swam in the ocean, if it's, you know, a chicken, a cow, it's, you know, eating whole foods, one ingredient foods. Okay, so let's move on. Getting off my soapbox. Okay, so go to page 66 if you're following along. So let me get my glasses. Just like the nutrient density of the food we eat is crucial for nurturing our body, the density of our muscles' overall body composition is vital for our health and longevity. Muscle density refers to the quality and strength of the muscle, not just the size. When you focus on building dense, strong muscles, you're not only enhancing your physical appearance, but also improving your body's ability to burn fat, support your bones, and maintain a high metabolism. So we need to have muscle. So it's not just, you know, about building strong muscle. It's about, you know, our metabolic health. If we have more muscle, we have a higher metabolic resting rate. We burn more calories at rest. So how do you know if your metabolic rate is flexible? If you've probably heard that, it's a metabolic flexibility. That means you can switch from fat burning and carb burning very easily. So what are some signs that you have a flexible metabolic rate? So you can go several hours between meals and feeling good and energized. You don't get hangry, if you don't have food in a certain time. You have steady energy throughout the day. You're not crashing midday or, that slump in the evening, or you're always needing caffeine to get it through, the afternoons. You can exercise without needing a pre-workout or snack. You burn fat more easily, especially when you're doing like any fasting, like getting up and you can go for a walk first thing in the morning and not feeling famished. You sleep well at night and you wake up energized. That also with the hormones. So sometimes our cortisol naturally elevates in the morning and then it declines in the night. And then our melatonin increases at night, getting us ready to go to bed. But a lot of times when we're sleepy in the morning, we wake up, our cortisol levels are low, and then at night our cortisol levels are high, and then we're wired at night and we can't get to sleep. So that's when you don't have metabolic flexibility, or you're craving unhealthy foods and you have a sweet tooth. So signs that you're not metabolic flexible, or you're craving healthy foods and nutrient dense foods over sugar. So that's healthy metabolic flexibility. Signs that you do not have a flexible metabolism: you get irritable, tired, shaky if you skip meals. You constantly crave sugar or carbs. You feel like you need caffeine or snacks to keep you going. You struggle to lose body fat despite what you're trying. You feel sluggish or crash in the afternoon. You rely heavily on carbs for energy, especially during a workout. You wake up tired and with brain fog. So if that sounds like you, we need to work on the gut. I would suggest really doing like a liver cleanse, bone broth, kind of giving your digestive system a rest, and then feed the body with nutrient dense. And at first it's going to be hard because you should be able to fast for 24 hours with just water and bone broth and not have a problem and not feeling, you should have more energy during it. And if you're feeling shaky or anything, then your metabolic rate is not flexible, and you need to do more of the detoxification, maybe up the clean, and getting rid of the toxins. Because we want the powerhouse, the mitochondria of each cell, that's where it produces the ATP, the energy, to be very flexible and to switch from one to another. So we're talking about exercise. Helps with heart rate, blood pressure. It makes our vessels healthy. It impacts our hormones in a very healthy way when we're exercising on a regular basis. It prevents our insulin from spiking. Also, it reduces cortisol levels when we're exercising on a regular basis, and then also controls our appetite. So when we're lifting weight, and I'm going to try to do this in the next 5 minutes, talk about a little bit about weight training and walking. When you're lifting weight, if you are a beginner and have not been lifting weight for a while, start slow. Start with body weight exercises, squats, planks, wall push-ups, something that you are putting the muscle under tension. How you can vary it is by speed. So let's say you're doing wall push-ups. You can literally slow it down and then push your hands against the wall. Even go do this right now with me. Put your hands together and push. Push really hard. You can feel your chest muscles contract. You can do that against the wall by pushing, and you're adding resistance. When you're adding resistance, there's small micro tears in the muscles, And then on the recovery, it builds it up stronger, and then you can be more metabolic flexible. So then you can add resistance training. I love the bands because it gives a resistance in the concentric phase and the eccentric phase. The concentric is in the contraction phase, eccentric's in the elongation phase. So when you have a band, like the band with the handles, and do bicep curls, you have resistance on the way up. And if you don't just let it slam down with the band, you have also resistance on the way down. So you're working the bicep on both concentric and eccentric phase. So with strength training, you want to go slow. You want to put the muscle under tension. And a lot of time, I'm at the gym all the time, and I want to go up to people because they go so fast. They're using the momentum to do the work instead of the muscle. And I just want to go and like, slow down. If you allow your muscles to actually burn, you will see the results a lot quicker. And so I always say, when you're at the gym, or lifting weights, do the ugly face. If you've ever picked up something really heavy, what kind of face would you have? Like, you'd be straining. You're like, do the ugly face while you're lifting. Then you're lifting, heavy enough, but do it enough repetition with good form. As soon as you lose that form, then you stop the reps or go a little lighter. But if you can do like 30 plus, you can go heavier. So don't think about don't say, I need to do 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 12. Just throw that out the window when you're strength training. Okay, so now walking. Walking is super important because it's cheap. We have tennis shoes, we have the outdoors, we have walking pads, everyone does it. And 30 years ago, the average person walked 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. 30 years ago. For some reason, when I say 30 years ago, I'm thinking of 1970, but that's a lot longer than 30 years. That's what I think. It's aging me. So back in the 1990s, the average person walked 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. Today, the average person walks 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. Now think about it. In the 30 years, not only that we don't move our body as much, but also we have been bombarded with extra toxins in the environment, in our food, the dyes, and our laundry detergent, all of that. Our bucket is overflowing of toxins. So if you think of a bucket, you have your stress levels. So if our stress levels and our toxins are at the rim, whatever stress is coming our way, it's either extra toxins, it's stress from work, stress from environment, stress from working out, it overflows. And it overflows in all areas of life and also overflows into our fat cells. So when we lower the stress load, and not just talking about stress, pulling your hair out stress, emotional stress, that also adds to the bucket, but lowering the stress load everywhere will help our body to shed the extra fat much, much quicker. So walking really helps with that. So if you are new to walking, I want you to find what your average step count is. So let's say your average step count is 5,000 steps a day. And I don't want you to go from 5,000 to 10,000 because I need to get to 10,000 because you're not going to sustain it and you're going to get frustrated. You didn't hit your goal, or your knees are going to start hurting and your ankles because you jumped too far forward too quick, right? So I want you, find your average and then add 500 steps a day. So you go from 5,000 to 5,500 and sustain that for a week or sometimes 2. And then after that, add another 5,000. Now you're at 6,000 steps. And then sustain that for another week. And then slowly increase a little bit until you can get your 10,000 steps. And some days you'll hit it great, some days not. But some people can drop the weight with fewer steps than others. And I know when I was looking at my average step count, it was over a year ago when I was really, really focusing on it, because I lost the 15 pounds. And that's like the big thing that I did, was increasing my step count. So I looked at my average step count. It was around 7,000 average. So a lot of days I was under. I was around 5,000 steps or even 4,000. And because some days I worked all day at a desk, and I got home and I was tired. I didn't want to walk. And then I made it intentional. Intentional during my work hours, getting up, walking down the hall to the bathroom, doing multiple laps, making sure that I got my step count up. So I went from the average of 7,000 and then up to 10,000. And I think today I'm at 14,000 steps. And because I'm turning 50 in August. So I have goals, guys. I have goals. Who's with me? So step count is extremely important. Also, walking more, it helps boost our immune system. We sleep better at night, improves our mood. And if you cannot do the 10,000 steps, say you have that desk job, this is what I want you to do. And I'm going to end with this. So every hour, I want you to do 10 body squats. So 10 body squats. So you're going to get up and just do 10 body squats every hour. Because what that does, and if you have bad knees, and just do a little tap and up. So what it does, it opens up the channels, to the glucose channels, to bring whatever's floating around in the bloodstream, all the extra sugar, and brings it into the muscle. And so that will help you burn more fat throughout the day, even if you can't hit your 10,000 steps. So every hour, get up and do 10 body squats. And, say if you can't do 10, do 5. And then take a few minute break and do 5 more. And so that is a huge tip on if you can't get your steps in, do 10 body squats. And what they found in research is that if you are doing more activity spread out throughout the day, you see quicker results than if you're sitting all day and do an hour workout in the evening, which that hour workout is not a waste of time. It's not like bad, but you see better results if you spread it out throughout the day. So if you get up every hour, walk around, do 10 body squats, do wall push-ups, do something small that will take like 2 minutes. Not even that, we need to get up to go to the bathroom. We need to refill our water bottles, get hydrated, anyway. So moving our body throughout the day, you'll see a lot quicker results for your weight loss journey. So I hope you guys got a lot out of, I know I packed a ton of information in a short amount of time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer it. And like always, it's an honor to step in for the amazing Dr. Tracy Gibbs for In the Lab. Have a wonderful Tuesday night.